in locally, so I will upload it when I can. Hello, are you guys with me?
Yes.
So let's
Yes,
take a
sir.
look.
I've not even checked.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Don't worry, I'm
Yes.
recording locally. Let's take a look at this. So we have for each, and we have a class list, right? So let's go over. So this is the first one we are targeting. Remember, the one at the index of 0 is the first one. Remember, this is an array, and we are accessing the first element at the index of 0. The first element is the one at the index of 0. So let's see if we have something called class list on this, because whenever we do anything dot anything, that means it's suggestive of the fact that this is available inside of this, right? So let's take a look at the class list property. So when I open this, you can see we have what? Just one class, tip button, and it is consistent with what we have in our HTML, right? The 5% button has one class. All the buttons actually have one class. So we are saying listen for the class list, and the class list also has, a method inside of it, and that method is when we look at the prototype, you can see we have the add method inside of it. Can you see that? Hello. You see we have for each and so on, because it's an array as well. We have length, we have different ones. So whenever we click on this now, see what happens to the class list. So the class list actually gets updated, but you can't see it here because this is static, right? This is static, but you can't see, but it actually gets updated. So if I should, let's say, do a console.log btn, and here, and I decide to kind of check it, you will actually see that we have that updated version of this element with this new class list. And the way you look at that is when we go to our HTML, you can see we have now tip button with a class of active, the same button with 5%, the first button at the index of 0, this same button now has a class now. Can you see that? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So but the handle click event does something first before adding this active class, because we are adding here. It first checks if the class list has this active class. It removes it first, and the reason why we are removing first is so that when you click on another one, two of them don't become active at the same time. So you want to be able to remove it from the current one that is active and pass it on to the next one that is supposed to be active. So that's why you are doing what? btn class list, remove first the active class, then if event.target, remember event.target is the particular element in view, right? Dot inner html equals button.inner html. And you remember when I did this the last time? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is this line clear?
Sir.
If it is not clear, I can break it down further, but if it is clear, we can go on. Is it clear?
Sir, please, I want to ask, the active, did we start active earlier?
Did you understand what this line is doing now?
You said?
Do you understand what this line is doing?
Yes, inner HTML.
You know what?
It's targeting the inner.
It is comparing something.
It's targeting the button.
Yeah, comparing them. And what is it comparing?
Yes.
It is comparing the current. Remember when we do event.target, that means the current click event. The target is the current element we are clicking on. So the inner HTML of that element being compared to the current button that we are looping over. And remember, we are looping over them to remove and add classes. So it loops over all of them. So anyone that has the same inner HTML, the active class will be applied to it, but it will be removed from every other one. Does that make sense? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So I think that's just like an overview of everything we've done so far. So the next thing we want to be able to target now is the input element. Can you guys try that? Like, how do we listen for the input event or on the what's it called? The people element, because you have to be able to listen to that, right? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So basically what we are doing primarily now, we are just targeting the respective of various elements. We are not doing any calculations yet. I hope you are aware of that. We are just listening for the various element events.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's clear so far, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the next thing we want to target is the people element. We want to be able to target add event listener to the people. So to know the number of people. So it's going to be very similar to what we did with the B input, right? Hold on, I have
Yes,
to
sir.
count something. Okay. So can anybody give us a recommendation on how we will have to do that? Or how we can do that? So it's actually very similar to what we did before. So let's just so we have people input, right? So let's do that here. So we say people input dot add event listener. Then want to do input. I want to do it on and this function does not exist yet, right? We have to create it. So let's create it somewhere under this function. So we are going to pass an event. And what you find most times is this event, what's it called? What we find most times is this event being written as E instead of full event. People just use E most times. Does that make sense? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm supposed to put a comma here. So we have this. So let's just do a console.log event dot target. So you can see here. Where is that? Okay, I'm still doing console.log here. So let me remove that console. So when we write here, so we're supposed to get an event. Can you see here? So we are getting an event inside of the field. So what we just want to do here is very simple. We are not doing anything spectacular. So we want to be able to want to be able to save this inside of a variable as well. So we want to have people value. So there's going to be a default people value, obviously, and there's supposed to be the only default value we are not supposed to have is the what's it called, bill value, right? That's the only thing we are not supposed to have. Default bill. That we are not supposed to set this. By default it is 0. So I think we can actually just do that at the top here. So we can set bill value. Okay, we are not initializing that with any value. We can set let people, right? That these people that will be sharing the money. So let's call it people value too. Let's say 1. By default, definitely it has to be 1 person. You cannot give 0% tip, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's that. So the next thing we'll just do is we have to update the value inside of our set people, right? Just like we did in input. So we just have to do people dot, right? People value equals this. Does that make sense? So we are updating this now. Remember we can reassign. So we are reassigning whatever it is, whatever is here, to fit in here. So that's fine. So I think we've done for the most part everything we need to do in terms of targeting specific elements. So the next set of elements we have to target now is we have to also target our tip amount and this one to be able to display their values respectively, right? On the basis of what we entered here. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how do we target this element? So we'll go back to our HTML and see what those elements are called. Is everyone still here? Triumph, Abigail, are you guys still here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have this.
Yes, sir, I'm still here.
Okay. So we have this tip per person, right? Tip per person element. So we have an ID for it already. So that's great. So let's say tip per person. Right? So what we want to do is we might not even have to reference it here, but let's just do that. So let's say tip So we'll say document. And there's a couple of things we still need to do, for this. So let's just do a console.log tick per person. .inner HTML. Let's just do that and see what it is. So you can see we have $0.0, right here. Does that make sense? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we've been able to get that. So we also have total tip element. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So let's do the same thing for total tip element. Let total, it's supposed to be total bill basically. Be equal to
Yes.
document. So total bill. So let's also consider log total bill. So we also have 0.0, so the same value, right? So now let's start doing the heavy lifting. So what we want to be able to do here is, I think, don't we have a calculate button here? I'm not very okay. I think it calculates when we click here, right? It should calculate when we click on this percentage. So basically we have to enter this, then when we click on this. So most of the work we have to do will be on will be inside of our handle click. Does that make sense for you guys? But there's something else we need to do, because definitely I don't know if you guys have noticed that whenever we enter a value here, what we are getting is not actually what we intend to get. For instance, when we type in 0 here, we get 0 fine. When we type in 0 here, we get 0 fine. But whenever we click on this, there's a percentage sign that is here that we don't necessarily need. Have you guys noticed that? Because we can't calculate, we can't do any mathematical calculation with that percentage sign on that button. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm following.
Do you understand what I just said?
That the percentage will not take effect.
Yeah. We have a percentage sign on the button. I want you guys to understand the nature of the problem we're having. Or let's just
Okay. I think I get it now.
Okay, so now you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we have to remove it. So do you guys know how we can remove that? Maybe. Based on what we learned before. They are string is a string basically. So let me just help you. What kind of string method can we use to remove that?
Is it string interpolation?
We might not be able to, because basically we have an existing string. Not that we are trying to add an extra string to it. We just want to remove an unwanted character from it. You are free to Google it if you want to. Just
That's the pop method.
Pop method. But this is a string, not an array, right? Do we have
Oh yes.
Okay, let's say so let's see, let's try and validate what you're saying. So right, so we can say console.log. So let's say my name So you can see it's not valid. You can't use the pop method on a string. So what do we do? You can Google if you want to. Are you guys still with me at all? Are you trying to get
In
the story? Are you trying to get the story?
subtract.
Huh?
Like subtract or what, I don't know what it is. SUBSTR.
SUB substring.
S subtree. Yes.
Okay, is that what you guys found out?
So wait, I want to get. Are you saying that we need to remove the percentage from the 5?
Yeah.
Because like I don't. We need to remove the percentage and leave ordinary 5 alone without using HTML.
Yeah, we have to. No. We have to still use the HTML. Definitely, the value has to come from HTML, but we have to remove it.
So what are we supposed to do?
And that's what I'm asking you guys now. So whatever code you think we need to use to remove it, can you just type it in the chat section? All of you.
Like I don't understand what is
There's an
simple.
unwanted character. For instance, we cannot do this. This is a string, right? Inside of this HTML element, 5%,
Yes.
10%. So we cannot do.
Yes.
We cannot add. It's impossible to add this the way it is and this the way it is. There's an unwanted character here. Can you see that?
Okay, so you are saying that for us to remove the percentage without using HTML.
Yeah, without coming to remove it here, to remove it, to ignore it in our JavaScript and use the one and use just this one so that we can convert only this one to a number, because we cannot convert both of them to numbers together like this. We have to just convert only the 5. This is an invalid number. We will get none, right? Not a number.
So are we going to use the pop keyword?
I already said that the pop keyword is an array method, not a string method. And Laura, you type it the way we should use it.
Sir?
Type it the way we should use it now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, Laura.
Yes.
Okay, don't worry.
Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Sir.
One, two, three. Okay. Sir, can this work?
Okay. What are we going to do with that one?
Okay. So I think what we want to do is to remove the character of percentage at the index of 1. So we'll use maybe we'll put the subtract
It's
character
not
at
subtract,
the
it's actually
index of
substring.
1.
And this method, I guess this method is even deprecated. But don't worry, just do everything you can. Let's see. And please, everybody should give it a try as well. How far? Triumph, are you trying? And Mr. Kingsley, are you trying? Abigail, are you trying? Topper, are you trying? Okay, seems like Topper's network is bad again. I'm not sure she's still on the call. Triumph, are you trying? Abigail, are you trying? Mr. Kingsley, are you trying? I think you all should give it a try. Hello?
The ones I've seen, I don't.
Whatever you find, just add it. It's fine. Whatever you're able to find, you doesn't just find something and participate. Hello, how far everyone? Any luck?
Sir, we're still working on it. We're trying to get it.
Okay. Is Mr. Kingsley there? Is Abigail still here?
So I'm still here. I'm trying to Google something.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, just come up with something. So I think Yetuni and Laura, and I would like us to just experiment with all of them to see if it will, if it will work. So no problem. Um, that's fine. So whatever you can come up with, just put it there. You never know.
How will this work?
Which one?
I just posted something.
Okay, what you are doing here is you are replacing 5 with an empty string, I suppose. So that will remove 5 instead of the percent sign.
You said, sir?
What this will do is it's going to remove the 5. That's what the replace method does. It removes the first argument that it finds in the string and then replace it with the second one. And the second one, from what I can see, is an empty string.
It's empty. So you said I should replace it with 5, not the empty.
Or instead, you replace the percent sign with the empty string.
So I can't hear you.
Or you remove the percent sign with the empty string. Instead of 5 here should be the percent if you want to replace at all. What you want to replace should be what you have in as your first argument.
Okay.
So has anyone been able to come up with something? So let's just try and cut this. So let's just quickly try to finish it. So that's fine.
So I posted something earlier. I don't know. I don't think it's correct. Sha. I don't know.
Okay, no problem.
From what I was just thinking.
Okay, no problem. So has anyone else found something else? So let's just quickly experiment with this one. So because what we want to do is whenever we enter this, whatever we enter here, we want to be able to just in real time let it calculate this in real time, let it calculate this in real time. So that's what we're trying to do. So let me remove the placeholder, I suppose. Let me remove the value here. So leave the placeholder and then for people, let's make the value of people value 1, right? So that's value. Let's make this value let's make this value 0, right? 0.0. So okay, so that's it. So guys, are you ready? So now we need to create another new function, and that function we are going to be creating is going to be calculate. Calculate values, right? So we don't pass in any arguments since all the values we need are already existing inside of this function. So what we first want to check is let me disable this stuff so that we can go without invoices. Okay, let me disable that. So calculate tip. So first of all, let's just kind of bring in all the variables we are intending to use. Are you guys with me? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay, so calculate values. So basically when we are calculating values, what do we need to calculate values? We just need 1, 2, and 3, right? So when we do calculate values, let's just do a console.log. Let's just make sure we can access all of those values. Console.log, what's the first value? Input value, right? Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Hope that's what we call it. Okay, build value, right? So the second console.log we'll do is console.log build value. Then what is it, or what did we call our button value? So we didn't initialize that anywhere, right? I guess so. So we just added active class to our button. I don't think we've done anything per se with the value that we added. So here we are going to say let's have tip value, right? Let's tip value. So tip value is going to be equal to, definitely we want the default to be 15%. We want the first one to be selected by default, right? So 15% basically means 0.15, I suppose, right? Which is 15%. So if 15% is the default value, so let's do 5%, right? So 5% is going to be 0.05. That's correct, right? So we add an active class to this one, to the one with 5%. So we know that by default it's always 5%. Does that make sense? So we are going to say so inside of our for each, right? So here what we are going to do inside of our for each, where is that? On undo click. Are you guys with me, please? I know it's becoming a little bit complex now. So inside of here, where we are removing and adding those classes and so on, are you guys getting it? So what we just want to do is we want to be able to set tip value towards e dot tag, sorry, is it e? We call it event dot target value. Are you guys with me? So here let's set this equal to tip value. So we have people, right? Console.log people value. Are you guys with me? So please calculate values. I want us to call it whenever we click on buttons, anytime we have an event on the screen, I want us to call this value. You get it? So I want us to call this here inside of handle click. Whenever we change people input to, I want us to also call that function. Hello, are you guys understanding what I'm doing? So after every single activity, I want us to call it, so that as we are changing those values, we get to see those activities in our console. So you can see now that it's actually trying to calculate it. So whenever we enter let's say 100, so you can see here it's actually logging in everything. So let me try to make that clearer here. So let's say here is bill value, which is the original bill. So here let's say tip value, right? Are you guys getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when I enter something here, for instance, so you can see here bill value is 0.01, tip value is 0.05, which is what we initialized it with. Then people value is this. So when I click on 10%, you can see we are not getting any update for tip value, because we are not updating tip value here. We are just changing the active class on our buttons. Okay, tip value is event.target.this. So event.target.value is supposed to give us that. So let's see why it's not actually updating it for us here. Okay, let me try and do this here for now, and let's see what happens. So okay, it's getting it. So let's try and see what event dot. Okay, no. Okay, there's no value. Remember, there's no value. This is not an input element. It is input elements that have value. So for this one, it's supposed to be inner HTML. Do you get it? Hello, are you guys? So you can see we have bill value is undefined, and then this one is, so for bill value I think we should initialize bill value with 0.0 as well, so that we don't get undefined. Do you get it? So instead of doing 0 here, let's do 0. Are you guys with me? So here, instead of doing 0.0, because I don't want to bring in that complexity, so let everything be initialized with a value. Then remember, we can always reassign it later in the future. So here we have 0 is the initial value, so we can add 1. So you can see bill value is 1, tip value is 0.05, people value is this. When I change this, you can see bill value is still 0.1, then tip value is 10%. Can you see that? Hello, are you guys seeing everything? And is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes, but it's complex.
yeah, so
I think I'll just have to check it again.
yeah, definitely. So what we need to do here is, instead of doing this, so what we need to do is here, we need to this is where we get to apply what you guys came up with, right? So let's do what did Laura suggest at first. So substring. Okay, we have a couple of responses here. So Laura suggested substring, right? So it says the right? So you can see it is deprecated, right? To be deprecated means it is no longer being supported. Do you get it? So it wants to from the index of and then the length of the item you want to add to it. So we want to start from the index of 0, right? But Laura added, okay, what she said is that we should start from the index of 1. So let us see what we get from tip value. So when we click on this, let's see what we get. So you can see tip value is giving us 0%. So it gives us 5% now. Can you see that? Gives us 25 so it keeps giving us the messed up percentage. Hello. So that means it's actually taking out it's taking off the first character and leaving the remaining. Can you see that? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we are supposed to start from the index of 0. So substring could work at the index of 0, and then we'll do the index of it's going to be a long one. Event dot target. I just want us to finish up this today. Dot length, because it's a string, right? -1 is what we might want to explore. So when we do that, I think we should get it accurate. So you can see we are getting 10, we are getting 15, 25. So -1 means substring will actually see what it does. Substring will, remove elements starting from, or include elements starting from an index. Are you getting it? Then you want to add the length of elements you want to remove. So I'm adding the total length. I'm starting from the back. So -1 means the length of the entire string. So -1 means, okay, from the 0 index down to, are you getting me, the index of the last item. So it will exclude the last item from it automatically. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I've already taught you this instrument. So what we want to do here is, let's just do a number, right? To convert it to a number. Of course, we are familiar with that. So when I click now, we should get that blue value for it as though it is a number. Are you seeing that? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So the tip value basically. So to make this thing less complex, so let's store this in another variable. So let's say tip. So let tip be equal to this, right? So that we can see what we are doing. So we can say this is equal to tip. And the reason I'm doing that is because we need to do some extra calculation under this. Are you getting it? Hello. So tip is going to be this basically, because it is in percentage. It's going to be this divided by 100, right? So whenever we do 10%, we should get 0.1. So 0.1, 0.15, 0.25, 0.5 respectively. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So that's what we are doing here. So basically, this is all we need to do at this point. This is all we need to do. So for people input as well, I think what we just need to do here is convert this to numbers. And there's a lot more we need to do here, because we are not managing any error. If somebody enters an invalid character, we are not doing any of those yet. So maybe in the next class we can actually look at all of those. So for the on input chain, let's also convert this to a number. And you understand what the number does, right? So we are basically making these numbers. So instead of just bare strings, so let's say we have this. So you can see we have all of this now. So now the next thing we need to do now, we've been able to manage the percentage sign, and we've been able to convert every other thing to numbers, so that we don't try to add string to strings. Does that make sense? Hello.
Right here, sir.
So you understand everything I've done so far, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
What's not clear? Hello. Said it's not clear. I can't even hear. Hello. Are you trying to say something? What is not clear? I can't hear you. If you are using a headset or earpiece, can you just remove it? I can't hear you at all. Can you guys hear him? Can you hear Mr. Kingsley? I don't think I can hear you. I don't think I know I can't hear you. What I don't. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. I said from the beginning of the class, I've been just been struggling to just go along. I just have to just watch after the class.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So if you watch after the class and you still have questions, you can always ask. So so here we are supposed to calculate tip per person, right? Those are the two things we are interested in. So we want let tip, right, per person value. So that will have a value. Then we also want to get let total tip value. So these are the two things we are interested in, and now we know we have access to everything we need to calculate these two values. So let's just go on to calculate them. So the first tip per person value, what do we need to do to that? So we need to get what? First of all, the bill value, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how do we calculate tip per person? Is to divide the tip for each person, right, by each person. So we do tip, right, tip value. So we have to get the tip value is basically in percentage, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So we multiply that by what? The bill value, which is the entire value of the bill. Then what do we do with that? Because this will give you the tip value percent of the bill value. Does that make sense? So if the bill value is $100 and the tip value is 10%, so to give you 10% of this, right?
Yes, sir.
So we divide that by what? Person, people value, right? Does that make sense? So let's see if our calculation is correct. So let's say tip per person value. So let's see how how that will play out. So let's just do for $100 first. Okay, let's say with $1,000. So what we are logging here is 52 or line 52. Okay. So here 5% of $1,000 is what? It's $50, right?
Yes, sir.
So now we know we have one person. So that means one person is getting a tip of $50. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so that's correct. So let's leave this for now. So yeah. So the next thing we want to calculate is we want to calculate the actual tip amount, right? So the actual tip amount is going to be equal to what would that be equal to? It's going to be what exactly? Hello. Okay.
Is it going to be equal to tip per person?
Bill value.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Bill value. Then we are going to add bill value. We are going to multiply. No, we are not multiplying bill value. So I'm trying to find what is the appropriate way to get the bill, because we know if the bill is $1,000, it's supposed to be plus this, right? Plus this is what should give you this, right? So that means we are supposed to get this. So we should get this of this first, right? So we'll get this is going to be this plus what's that? Tip value, right? Times bill value. Does that make sense? Hello.
Sir, please come again. I think the mass is I don't know.
Okay, this
please
is
come again.
This is the bill value, like what you enter inside of here. It could be $1,000, $100. So what the person pays not total tip value. Is it total tip value? It's even total bill value, right? I think that's what we are getting. Total bill value. That is what the person should pay eventually, putting the tips in view, right? So it's going to be his original bill plus the tip is given. So the tip is given is the percentage of the tip, which is in the percent divided by 100 times the tip value. Hello, times the tip value. Yeah, so the bill times tip value. So tip value is in percentage, so this could be 0.1, which is 10%. So times the entire bill is going to give you the amount of the tip, so plus the bill value. That's what you are looking at as the total bill of the person. Does that make sense?
Okay, sir.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so what we need to do in this case now, we need to set tip per person equal to this, then we need to set total bill equal to this. So we're going to say here now we're going to say total bill dot inner html equals total bill value. So on top of this we are going to do what's that, tip per person. So we're going to do tip per person dot inner html will be equal to what's that, tip per person value. So let's see how that will be. So let's see if that works. Okay, works, but our card is losing alignment. So you can see now that it actually works. Whew, Jesus. So it works, but we need to definitely, that's just the CSS styling issue, right? So but you can see that 5% of this is this, and then this, it gives us 10%, 1,100, 15%, 1,150, 1,050%, 1,050. Can you see that? Then we can also increase this, let's say to 10%. So you can see 10% now we get $50 each, because this is $500 tip. Does that make sense, guys? Hello.
Mr. Please mute your mic.
So are you guys getting it now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So everything
Yes,
is
sir.
working. Everything works fine now, right? Absolutely fine. So you can see that when we entered certain numbers, we get this infinite decimal point and so on, which is not what we are looking at. So what we need to do is we need to be able to what's it called? We need to be able to set what's that, to fix, right? So there's a property called for numbers in JavaScript, to fixed. So to fix to that is it's only add 2 decimal places. So here we also say what's it called, to fixed. So that's also 2. So it adds 2 decimal places at every point in time. Does that make sense? So whenever we do and let me not just initialize this HTML with a value, because it's kind of messy. It kind of gives us this terrible behavior. So you can see that now. So it makes more sense now. The 2 decimal places remain. So here we want to also add the what's it called. So let's use string interpolation, and let's just add in what's it called, let's add the dollar symbol, right? So the dollar symbol and string interpolation. This is not the dollar symbol we want to add. I'm just this is the way we use variables here. So let's just do the dollar sign now, space this. So this gives us the dollar sign back after we've added that stuff. So here, and then I do so that's that. So once I do $100, okay, doesn't look so great. So you have a couple of work to do on your styling, but that's just it for now. So guys, you see that works. When I change the percentage, you can see it responds, and then when I add let's say increase the number of users, what's that, so when I change to 11%, or maybe I change to 20%, you see everything adjusts accordingly. Does that make sense, guys? So we are officially done. Just that we need to fix this. So for the reset, so we just need to target the reset button, or can you guys do that as an assignment instead, just to validate the fact that you understand this? So you fix the reset part of things. So whenever I click on reset buttons, let everything go back to the default, and by the default I mean what we have here is the default. Does that make sense? So when you click on this, you want it to be able to set everything back. So you want to set bill input back to this, people value back to this, tip input back to this, and so on. You get the point. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's it. So thank you very much, guys. I need to go to sleep now because I have something to attend to tomorrow, very early tomorrow morning. So
Evangelism.
any question
All
at
right,
this
sir.
point?
Thank you very much, sir.